This is a decimal place value chart. You can use this chart if you are working on an assignment referring to writing numbers in expanded form or expanded notation, and also to compare decimals. I'm going to show you how you could use it if you were being asked to find a number in expanded notation, or if you had a number in expanded notation and you were asked to find the number in standard form. So for example, I want you to notice that this goes all the way to the thousands place. So remember, anything to the left of the decimal, that's your whole numbers. So again, that's like your dollars. Anything to the right of the decimal, that is your decimals. Decimals, I'm not spelling it right. And these are like your change, your cents. Okay, you don't have a whole dollar, you have part of a dollar. So your decimal point, remember we don't say dot or decimal, we say and when you're reading that. Notice that your ones place is represented in the standard form with the 1, your tens place with the 10, your hundreds place with the 100, and your thousands place with the 1,000. So when you're writing in expanded form or expanded notation, that's very important. Your tenth can be written as 0.1 or 1/10 in fraction form. Your hundredths place can be written as 0.01 or 1/100th in decimal form in fraction form, and your thousandths is 1.001 or 1,000th in fraction form. One thing that I like to notice is if I took out this decimal and I flipped it around, that would be 10. If I took out the decimal and I flipped it around, that would be 100. Same thing here. And I only mention that because sometimes we get confused on which of these numbers represents the tenths, the hundreds, and the thousands, and that could be a helpful way to remember that. Also, another thing you can think of is, why is it 0.1? Well, this is a way of saying that you have 0 whole numbers and you have 1/10. Same thing here. You have 0 whole numbers, you have 0/10, and you have 1/100. 0 whole numbers, 0/10, 0/100, and 1,000th. So I'm going to fill in a number. How would I write this in expanded notation? Remember, expanded notation is represented with parentheses, and you're going to read from left to right. So I see I have 2. I have 2 in the hundreds place. So there's my open parenthesis, 2 times 100. That's like the mathematical way of saying I have 2 in the hundreds place. So when you look at the multiplication sign, you can think of that as meaning in the. So 2 in the hundreds place. I'm going to add that because my next number is 7. The 7 is in the tenths place, so 7 times 10. So 7 in the tenths place. 9 in the ones place. 1 in the tenths place, and remember, this is how we represent a tenth, so that's how I'm representing a tenth here. I don't need to put anything for my 0 because I have nothing there. So I don't need to put 0 times 100th. But I do need to put something for my thousands because I do have a number there. So 4 times my thousandth. And you could check yourself because 2 times 100 is 200. 7 times 10, 70. 9 times 1 is 9. If I added that up, that would be 279. So already you can see that's correct. Here, 1 times 1/10 would be 1/10. I don't have anything here in my hundredths, and 4 times 1,000th would be 4 thousandths. I'm going to add my imaginary zeros. And see, I have 104 thousandths here on my right, just like I do here. So expanded notation is a way to represent giving the value of the number. So looking at it, I can tell you exactly what these numbers represent as far as their value. So it's not just a 2, it's 200ths. This is not just a 4, it's 4 thousandths. And this lets me know that even though 4 normally is greater than 2, because of its value here in the thousands place, I know that it is much less than the 2 in the hundreds place.